Call the meeting to order for the Cottrellville Township Board meeting at 7:33. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're about to start the Wednesday, April 13th board meeting. And we have a roll call vote.
Ken?
Here.
Matt?
Here.
Patty?
Here.
Mary Agnes?
Here.
Angie? Here.
Okay. The first thing we have to do is approve the agenda. I have an addition. I would like to, evidently when I was holding the meeting, I neglected to take a vote after the minutes on page 7.
Can I ask you, which meeting are you talking about?
The regular board meeting on March 9th.
Not the budget meeting?
Not the budget, no.
Both of them?
Well, the one I think was more a consensus than it was anything else. But the first one is on page 7. I had moved to table the rate study from UMBA for 30 days, and then I failed to take a vote.
She failed
So,
to take a vote after this.
if you want to reenact that right now, we can, you want to second it?
That's what you're saying, you didn't have a second and a vote, correct?
Right. Do we have a second now?
That's proper, I would second that.
All right, we have a motion to table this rate study for 30 days from UMBA. We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none?
None.
Motion carried.
Yeah.
Oh,
I oppose.
you opposed?
Because I haven't even had time to read it.
Oh, all right, well,
It was your idea. I think.
that's
I
fine.
know, but I haven't read it.
Okay.
That's all
I
right.
just got this a few minutes ago.
Okay, we've got another one on page 9.
I have it right here if you want to look at it.
I'm not sure that there needed to be a vote taken for that. I guess that would be something we'd have to decide. It was letters that I wrote to the state representative and the state senator regarding the displeasure of the governor's 2017 budget to reduce revenue sharing to us by $5.8 million, eliminating 100 townships. We're not sure if we're in that group or not, but I wrote the letter, I read it to everyone. If there was, I asked if there was anybody that disapproved it, and it seemed like everybody was on board, so.
I think it was this one right here. Number 2. Under number 2.
This is number 2,
Okay.
discussion, right there.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, see the action? There's no vote after the action. The motion.
Okay, then the action was motion by clerk to upload the only the agenda to the minutes on demand as soon as it's finished, and to upload the approved meeting minutes 5 days after they have been approved to minutes on demand. We had a second by trustee Chartier. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, now, the agenda. Is there anybody want to add? I have one I have to remove. E, consent agenda. 2, B like boy. The 2016-17 budget workshop meeting that was held on March 22nd. There's a couple of typing errors in that we want to fix. The other thing is on the consent agenda again, E, 9B like boy. That's the Iron Township Fire Department runs for March. I still haven't received that report. Anybody else see anything they want to change?
So those are being removed, is that what you're saying?
Yes, they're being removed. Just cross the line through them.
H4C.
Can I-
Yep. We're removing that one.
Okay.
H4C.
We're also removing under new business, H4C, like Charlie, appointing a new deputy clerk. We're removing that from tonight's meeting as well. Anyone else have anything they want to add or subtract?
Hold on.
Yeah, that was new business?
H, new
C.
business,
Okay.
yes. 4C.
This out.
Yep, we're removing it.
All right, I guess in light of not having time to go over all of this, and to be fair for all of the citizens and for the rest of the board, I move that we postpone all these issues and have another meeting at a later time, so we've got time to study this.
Okay, you want to hold up paying bills?
Absolutely.
I agree.
If that's a form of a motion?
That's a form of a motion.
So we're gonna just, you wanna just cancel the whole meeting then? We might as well, eh? Is that what you're saying?
You can have your discussion or
We can
whatever you
go
want, but
over.
we can't make any financial decisions. We haven't seen any of this.
Well,
Well, we can go over the bills right now that need to be paid.
I don't recommend that. That was a
Well,
big,
I don't recommend it
it
either.
was a big thorn in their side when bills weren't paid on time from the previous administration.
Did you see the approval on the agenda? B? This was supposed to be uploaded. Minutes on demand, all of that, so we could have seen a little of this prior to on the agenda.
Well, you can't upload them till they're approved.
Well, we haven't even
Well-
seen them.
The agenda was just finished.
Well, I realize that, but it was supposed to have been finished last week.
Yeah, but you do see how big it is.
But it was still supposed to be finished last week.
Ken, I'm not gonna discuss that with you. If you wanna chew me out, go ahead, start your
I make a
spiel.
motion that we postpone everything other than discussion until we have a chance to go through all of this. This is way too much stuff to try to absorb
Do we have a
in
second?
3 minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I want a roll call for this,
Yeah.
please.
Can we ask for
Yeah.
clarification first of the motion? We're talking the consent agenda?
We're talking about the whole thing that has to do with financing. Anything that has to do with dollars. Anything that's a discussion we can still have and hold if it's for information purposes. But we can't logically make any kind of a financial decision.
Well, what are we making the financial decisions on? This is all out of the computer. You've already paid your paychecks. You've got bills that you've gotta meet. There's part
I
of the
don't know,
bills
I
that have already
haven't
been
seen it.
paid.
I'm not,
Well, we don't see the bills anyway.
we should be.
You want copies of all the invoices now brought to each meeting?
If there's one that we see on here that there's a question of, we should have enough time to be able to go in there and ask Angie for it, shouldn't we?
I would guess, but.
Well, I would too.
You haven't asked anything in 6 months, so I guess I'm
We've
just a
never
little
had it in
surprised.
6 months. We haven't had a correct set of minutes since you started. We haven't had this but one time, 3 days before the meeting. We're supposed to have it at least 7 days before the meeting.
Well, I've been bringing these to your house and to your office. so
One
you-
time you
No,
brought
I
it.
beg your difference, sir.
Well-
You check your emails and you'll see how I've been trying to deliver them. This is the first one, and my husband was sick. He was put in the
I
hospital.
understand that.
No, you don't
But this is
understand
for the whole
it.
township thing. This isn't just about you and your husband.
No,
This is
I
about
know,
the
it's
whole
always about
township.
Ken Chartier.
Well, I'm not making any decisions.
Well, you don't have to. We'll vote on everything else. Most everybody at this board comes to the township hall and finds out things that's going on.
I was here yesterday. This was not ready yesterday.
No, it was not.
Okay, so when do you think I'm gonna absorb this?
I have no idea.
She handed it to me at 7
Everybody
o'clock.
in this board comes to the township hall, and I catch them up on everything
Matt,
that's
when
going
did
on.
you get yours?
4:30 this afternoon.
Patty, when did you get yours?
This morning.
Angie?
This morning.
Okay. And that might be the only thing you've got to do, you and Patty, is to read these all day long.
No, I read this at 5 o'clock.
You read it at 5
I
o'clock?
read through it. Mhm.
Okay.
And I made
I got it at
notes.
7. Do you want to give me 3 hours?
Okay.
I'll read it?
Well, it only took me about 15 minutes, so.
Well, you're just reading that one.
Yeah, no, I read through
I'm
the
reading
whole.
all of this.
I read through the whole thing.
All right, well, we'll let you vote on what you want to, and then we'll let the rest of the board decide what they want to do. Is that fair enough to you, sir?
There's a motion.
Yes,
We
I know.
voted on. All financial issues, I've tabled until we can have a chance to get together and read it.
Okay,
If
well-
you want to have discussion on any of these issues, feel free. But we can't make any financial decisions without time to look at this. Now, do you want me to reword that to you?
You say it any way you'd like to say it. sir.
I've already said it. I
Just
don't know
make
how
sure-
you can comprehend it.
Oh,
How
I'm
would
a
you
little
like it?
slow, I guess.
I make a motion that we do not accept anything in this packet pertaining to financial at this meeting.
Okay, well, I can tell you right now that everything that's on the back as far as the road commission.
If I wanted to take your word for it, I'd have stayed at home and you could have mailed me the information.
Well, if you'd have come to the meeting that we had in our write-around, you'd have found all this stuff out. But see, you were too busy that day, too.
You know what? You've never passed that invitation on.
I never passed what invitation on?
That little ride-around thing that you said you had.
It's something you guys do every year.
Is it?
You didn't know about it? You pointed out to that Mr. Kaufman attended it with you once.
Knowing about it afterwards, yes.
You knew about it afterwards?
Afterwards.
You invited him and he showed up and you didn't?
No, I didn't invite him. He did that for the last board.
Well, I can't believe you didn't
Are you
know
going
about
to take
it.
a vote on what I made a motion on or not?
Do we have a second?
Matt.
Okay, and you're happy with the discussion?
Yes, I am.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Please signify by saying aye by roll call vote, please.
Angie, no. Ken?
Yes.
Mary Agnes?
No.
Patty?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, well, all right, what do we want to not discuss now? We don't want to talk anything about the minutes. We don't want to talk about the revenue and expenditure report from March 31st. I don't know what you can change on that, but the treasurer's report are all in order. The township cash and investment reports are there. The bank reconciliation is there. The township investment for March is all there, all the CDs and money markets that we have. We have a trial balance.
These are all the things we're not talking about.
Right.
Do you want to talk about some of the things that's a discussion?
Well,
We made a motion, we passed it.
All right, I want to make sure you understand that there's opens to be paid, $23,782 that we'll be getting penalties on. The paids are $168,000, that's done.
And there's a whole community that will be penalized on if we make decisions without accurately seeing any of this.
Okay.
I can't help it because you didn't get it to me in time.
Continuing education requests, none. Huron Consultants Engineering Project status, we have a report from Sumid. Is there anything you would like to elaborate on that?
We can share what we discussed about the soccer.
Please do. Can you step to the podium, please? Thanks.
Good evening. I've requested a meeting with the supervisor and the DPW to bring them up to speed of what's going on with the televising and cleaning portion of the SAW grant. As you recall, we did receive bids and they came in higher than the allocated budget for the grant. So we started talking to the state and the other contractor, other municipalities of what they were doing. And they're actually splitting the inspection and the cleaning portion of the grant separate. So what we are doing right now is inspect to clean rather than clean and inspect together. So in simple terms, we're going to hire a contractor to go and send a camera in every sewer, find out what's going on with these sewers, and if we need to clean them, we will have money left in the grant to clean not all the sewers, but some of them. We're going to prioritize how we're going to clean them. If we need to clean them all, we come up with a cleaning program in the next 5 years or so, something, just to not to violate the grant requirements. So we talked to 3 companies. Again, Cottrellville was one of the 3 communities that we gave these 3 contractors an opportunity to bid. 2 of the other municipalities, they like one contractor for previous work and history and relationship, and I believe Cottrellville also like that contractor. They're Michigan Pipe. So we're going to be talking to them tomorrow, and we're going to cut them loose on the inspection portion. Once we're done with that, we get an assessment of what we have with sewers, and then we go to the next steps of the grant, which is digitizing all the data, making an assessment and criticality of the sewers, coming up with the rate methodology, hydraulic modeling of your sewer system, and also ordinance development. And we have about 1.5 years to complete that. So that's basically where we're at. right now. I believe Patty and Angie got a copy of what has been done so far, and
It's in the file here.
and the supervisor, I just gave her a copy today. We're about 37% of the work right now, but we still have to go through all these tasks and produce a final report to the state before a 3-year mark.
Don, are you, have any other questions you want to, anybody on the board here have a question? Just appeal to Mr. Samid here? No?
One question. There is money to certify one of your staff to be certified as a sewer inspector. We've done the training, we don't need to go again, but I would like Don or his assistant to go. The next training session is in June. It's already covered by the grant. It's a 3-day training session. Again, it's covered by the grant.
Okay. I think we'd like to see that happen too, either you or Johnny.
Yep. If that's okay, we'll go ahead and schedule
Please do.
one of them.
Tom, you have a question?
You know, in the camera, that you're gonna have detailed information where there's leaks and
Yes.
silly questions.
Yes.
Okay.
I want that in the word to look.
They're gonna send a camera in. They're gonna have a water jet to clean the pathway, and they're gonna send a camera, and everything will be digitized in a computer monitor.
Oh, we got, there's gonna be some breaks or cracks or major something someplace.
We'll find out. That's the whole exercise of sending a camera. We'll find out what we have.
Sir Matt, real quick, I had spoke with you last week in reference to the 2 laptops apparently that we're supposed to get. Now, since we're using a different contractor to do this, are we still going to be using or receiving those laptops?
Yes.
Or do we not need that?
Those laptops, first of all, they're not laptops.
Or
They're
what are they?
towers.
Oh,
They're capable of uploading or handling the GIS data, that, you know, all the mapping, all the information. I think we budgeted 2 towers. So they are independent of the televising, but we are getting them after.
okay.
But we didn't want to go ahead and buy all that stuff.
Right, but I didn't know if we still needed them since you're going to be,
They're budgeted for, and they're covered by the grant.
Okay.
And you're going to need them. I mean, the DPW will need them.
okay.
And part of that, they're going to be a handheld synced to the tower that will have all the information with the DPW mobile. So they'll have all the maps, they can locate manholes, they can find the condition of these manholes. You can load as much information that you need on these little gizmos.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Very good.
No
Thank
problem.
you. And the Marine City Fire Authority runs for 2016. Now is our open session for anyone who want to address the board.
So wait, before you get to that,
Yeah,
you
sure.
touched on a few of those items under the consent.
Yes.
Just a point of clarification on the minutes. If you look at the header, it's March 9th. And it says February 10th. I think just the header wasn't changed, just to make that correction.
Yeah,
before
we'll
we-
have time to make that correction before then. While we got her though open here, when would you like to hold a special meeting to approve these items? Ken, when do you think you could have a chance to go through all your paperwork?
Let's hold it Friday evening.
I'm sorry?
Let's hold it Friday evening so people can still
Friday
come and they
evening?
don't miss
Is that-
work.
Are you guys available, or everyone available?
I think so.
Okay, what time would be convenient for you?
Whatever time you normally have meetings.
You want it at 7:30?
7:30, whatever you want.
So we can be Friday night?
Friday night.
7:30. Okay, that is the 15th.
Yes.
But I
Okay,
guess I would rather ask the people of what would be convenient to them since we're inconveniencing them.
well, it's not an inconvenience. They are here as an audience. The board is the one that you have to, I mean, I include everyone in the audience, but this is board business. This is to run the township. It's not for the convenience of the residents. Excuse me?
I said maybe I'll have to take off work this time. Because you'll probably have it at 3 again, people work.
All right, do you want to make that in the form of a motion that you'd like to hold the a special meeting to approve the things that we don't get covered this evening at 7 o'clock on,
I think if you make the motion and let us know, we'll all attend it.
well, I think we better have a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried.
This will be posted
Yes.
properly according to protocol.
It'd be on the door.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone wishing to address the board regarding agenda items may do so at this time, please.
Me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you get up there, Bev, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I as a resident really am upset with Ken because Lori and Kelly were wasteful spenders with the board and he never once spoke up like he's been doing. Where was the verbal when they were in office? Why did it take a handful of people to research and find out what they were doing? I mean, this is nothing. I don't want.
It
No,
isn't.
I-
Have you gone through all of this? And you'll guarantee I won't find anything
No,
that's in
it's
question.
just because you
Wait a
have.
minute, you're the one that just made the accusation. You'll guarantee I won't find anything wrong in here. Is that
No,
what
I
you're
can't,
saying?
nobody can
Well, then
guarantee
sit down
that.
and wait.
No, I have a right
then
to
say
be
whatever
up
you want.
here. You have
Then
sat
I've
there
got a right to do
month
my
after
job for
month.
all of the people
Yeah, and it's
here.
about
Let
time
her
you're
speak.
doing it. This is your 4th year in office and the last 6 months is when you've been vocal. The rest of the time you sat there and you ask over and over and over again, what's this, what's this? We knew you didn't go through your packet. It was obvious. Now all of a sudden it's gotta be there and you've gotta give her some consideration with a sick husband. I said, you're bullying is what you're doing. You're bullying.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is the right time for this or not, but I had to mark down a couple things, and a couple things I noticed in the paper today, the Voice. One thing they were commenting about, and I don't think we've ever done it, and they're flushing their fire hydrants, okay? They've never flushed ours that I know of. They may have. I know they fixed mine out front of the house, but I don't know if they've ever flushed them, okay? So I was just wondering where we stand on that, okay?
Just 1 second, we'll ask.
They're
Mr.
flushed twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall when they're flushed and drained and winterized for winter.
Okay. Because I just didn't notice anybody, or any water spills or anything like that, but it's,
Because we buy our water, we flush it until the water is clear. So it's not like you run it for 5 minutes,
Oh,
5
okay.
minutes, because we can't afford that.
okay,
Each fire hydrant gets flushed.
yeah.
And sometimes they also get flushed at night. So when people are sleeping, so we're not moving the water around in the mains.
And there was the other thing is, I think everything has been moving along as far as the board is concerned with the way they're doing things. But there's things that have come up, and I'll just give you an example. And I put down here results of decisions made, okay, to talk about. One was I was talking to the fire chief after the last meeting. We never pursued collecting money for the fire or the call at the Shea Bar, nor at the salvage yard, okay? And he said they let it go. I don't know who they is, but I remember we talked about it at the meeting, and I know I objected to not making them pay, and somebody else did. But that was the end of the discussion. Never heard a thing about what was said. Who made a decision to let it go, and when did they do that to abide by it? It wasn't at that meeting, because nobody up there voted to let it go. So what I'm saying is, we ask questions, and I know sometimes you're all busy, but sometimes we would like to have some feedback on some of these things of what's going on.
Mr. Barnes, I'm thinking that when we get to that point where she asked if she could have it waived, and we all voted against it. I assumed, because we have Acumed, that they would be taking care of it because they tell us that, you know, they take stuff to court. I dropped the ball. I guess I can find out for you what happened, but I understood we tossed it back to them to go ahead and start legal
Okay, well, I'm
proceedings.
glad you said that because I was told that the Marine City Fire Department, which I'll know more, they're having a meeting this coming month, and I'm going to that, okay, and I talked to the fire chief. They said that actually, they give that bill, and all those people do is put a stamp on it and send it to the people and forget about it. He said, this is his words, he said that it would be better if we had somebody to send them out and follow up on them. Because I know you mentioned about a millage increase for services of the township. Well, I know one thing, personally, I will never vote for a millage increase, and I'd be definitely against a millage increase if we can't do some simple things like collecting money for fires that we're paying for out of our pocket and stuff like that. It's not right for us as taxpayers to be paying for somebody else that's not doing it. And it wouldn't be fair to ask for a raise to cover this type of stuff. That was just a couple comments. I mean, I might be out of order, but like I said, I would like to hear some feedback on some of this stuff if possible, when it gets there.
Anyone else like to speak? Oh. I don't know.
I'm kind of new to the area. I live on Arnold, and my name is Charles Chesser. This is my first meeting in 9 years, but I finally own my own home now. Okay, so now the taxes are in my name. I got some questions. This is kind of, Ken, I agree with you. I may not agree with everything, but to receive something at 7 o'clock at night to know what was going on, kind of, I know I run my own business. Last minute, I'm not going to make decisions. I see you guys motioned it and seconded it. That's kind of right. I think that's short notice. At least a week would be nice. The reason I'm up here is more, I've lived on this street on Arnold for 9 years now. And that ditch project that they did, the county redid, that drain that crossed over from one side of the street to the other, that was a big issue last year. They cut those ditches so deep and so wide that the post lady can't even put mail in the mailboxes. It's ridiculous. They graded the road yesterday, didn't even push enough gravel over to where she's running in, almost into the ditch and sliding in. I understand Kim Kenny, my neighbor, said the township supervisor was there on the 5th and hasn't heard anything back from you to find out.
Was there on the 5th?
Yep, that's what he texted me today, because I said, are you coming to the meeting to ask about this ditch, you know, the ditches that were dug? The flooding is so bad. The neighbors really across from me are so, I mean, there's 2 feet of water. It's ridiculous. We put 2 culverts in, one larger, when they dug them deeper than the ditches. Now, it's ridiculous. The water, there's a lot of stagnant water. I live where there's 25 feet on the main ditch that runs, I guess it'd be north and south. That's almost crusting. It's never done that. And so whatever they've done up front is now becoming a problem, and it will overflow on my property. And I'm not crazy about that. So I kind of like to be aware of what's going on with that. I'll give a phone number or whatever, and you know. Want that phone number?
Please.
Mary? It's 586-419-5432. The name's Charles, and the last name's Chesser, C-H-E-S-S-E-R. I'm at 7115 Arnold. I think something needs to be done about it. I don't know if that side ditch has been done in 30, 40 years, but I think it needs to be maintained or whatever, so we got continuous flow. But I see it's starting to build up, and you know, when we moved in, we tapered that so the water stays off. It was built up so high, it was overflowing, and now it's been better. But now that they did the front Arnold Road, it's way worse. And it's terrible because there's some of the neighbors that are here, I'm surprised they're not getting up and saying something about this because it's out of line. And the water, if, you know, Kim Kenny says he's provided pictures and everything, so you guys can have, you know, I'm sure you can look into that and find out what he's got. I mean, it's, you know, 100 feet in. That's terrible. That's up to these houses and these garages and everything else, and not just a couple inches, like 6-8 inches of water. That's a lot. And I know they put a larger culvert across there, but it's done wrong. It's deeper than the side ditches, so now you got all this stagnant water. You're gonna be having problems with mosquitoes and everything else. And I mean, I'm surrounded by it. So I got the front ditch and the ditch that runs all the way along the side of my property. So I think it needs to be addressed.
Okay, well, the ditch alongside of your property is probably your ditch, is it not?
No, it's actually the county ditch.
It's a drain, county drain? Well, there's two different departments there that kind of handle that. The road
Okay.
ditch and the count, if it's a county drain, it's done by the, and
All right.
everything is allotted in funding. And we only had so much money to work on, and it was the previous board that approved that, and then we ended up paying a little bit more to get it to the next stage. They're gonna eventually get it so that it will run the water to the north there towards, you know.
Well, right now, when you see the water and all the rain we've had in the last 2-3 weeks,
Right.
it's deadheading. And when you see deadheading water and it just sits there and swirls, doesn't know what to do, it's just building up. And that's not
When we looked at
right.
it, when we went on our boat, and it didn't look like the water was doing that. It seemed to be flowing pretty good, didn't it? It was a pretty good,
Okay,
so.
well,
And just so
all
you
right, so
know,
I'm not, you're not there, all right? So I'm saying you went there
Okay.
that one day, it may have been looking like it flowed.
All right,
But
well,
when it's
can-
really coming down,
let me
and this
explain
is
to you.
overgoing,
The ditches are not there for the homeowner. They're there to protect the road, to give you enough crown on your road to keep your road from going to pot with big potholes.
okay?
It's not for that reason. If the water overflows because we've had a tremendous amount of rain, there's nothing that the county or the township can do for you. All you could really do is just raise your grade a little bit. Now, they realize the ditch is very deep, but that's what they needed to handle the water that they calculated went through those
Well,
ditches.
you look at the main ditches along your main roads and stuff like that, they're narrow and deep, not wide and deep, okay?
Yeah, well, we didn't do
So
any
you-
of the engineering, and
Well,
that's what we
that's
paid them
obviously
for.
with the road commission, so is that where I go next?
I guess.
Because it's really ridiculous how wide they cut those. When the mailboxes were there first, now they're cutting into the road, that road material went somewhere. You know, it didn't erode, they took it away. So they narrowed the road is actually what they did. They didn't keep it at a certain distance. And it's terrible, it's bad. So I guess so you're saying that you guys are really not involved, it's really the road commission?
We only allow to pay for, it's a match money sort of
Okay.
thing. The county will furnish like $10,000 worth of work, and we have to pay for $10,000 worth of work. And they pick certain roads, the worst spots get it
No, I get it.
first. But the problem, I know Mr. Kinney's very upset about his wood chips.
Forget about the wood chips.
But the wood
You know,
chips
a few
are-
$100s or what he's got in there. What I'm watching is everybody's water still going up and up to their houses and everything on the other side. And it's just ridiculous that water should not be getting to the houses. And now it's gotten so bad, it's higher on my side ditch than normal in 9 years. So I mean, it's about ready to crest. Now, it's never done that. And that's wider than what is at the road. So something's happening there that's not being engineered right. And, you know, you may say, okay, let's put the new culverts in and that's supposed to fix the problem. It's not fixing the problem. So this money that's being allocated for it is, something's wrong. Somebody needs to look into this.
All right,
So-
well, we'll bring it to his attention again, but we may have to have you speak with the drain
Okay.
commissioner as well, because it sounds like it's feeding from.
It'd be nice to meet with somebody, because when I were digging that, I said, why are you guys digging it so deep and so wide? When you're going past the mailboxes and you're only leaving that girl maybe 8-10 inches to get to your mailbox without sliding off. I pulled her out of the ditch because delivering mail to the neighbor, she slid right in. So that's crazy. She couldn't even get out of her vehicle, because that's the side that, the door that allows her to, you know, to step out is now in the ditch. And I happened to go by and see her there. She was freaking out. So, I mean, that's not right. And I think something was done wrong about that. It was cut way too deep. And it's deep and wide. They took it and instead of making it narrow and deep so you could have the same volume, They reached out too far and pulled up too far.
I think that
into the
section
road.
of the road is where the road is in the wrong place
That's what he
too.
said, yep.
Is that what it
Road
is?
in the wrong
Yeah,
place.
you have right-of-way road there, and then when they set the outside stakes, the road has actually been
Yeah.
moved over. And
Yeah.
so,
And I imagine the easement, all that, because I lost a whole corner, I lost a lot of trees and everything else, because they cut that so deep. And I'm like, I imagine there's an easement, I haven't looked at the, the plot,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I'm sure they were within their rights,
Well, the
because I
stakes are
saw
there.
flags and everything else. But, it's terrible that I can't even get to the other 25, 30 feet on my other side of my property. There's no culvert for me to cross into that property without going through my neighbor's property to get to the other side. That's not right.
no.
I don't even know how, when back in the summer, Mr. Somerville built those homes, how did that ditch go through there? And leave that vacant section, a strip of land there where nobody can ever do anything with it. It was something that you pay attention after you move in, you find out why all these plastic pipes, because my water comes from Starville, that's a quarter mile away. So you learn why, when that ditch was dug, they ran into those lines and why they're popped up, and they must have had, to fix them because of frost and everything else. So I see it, but there's something going on with this ditch thing, that we're allocating money to it. Let's make sure it works when we allocate the money to it, right?
Well, maybe what we can do is set up an appointment.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
a couple of us will go with you, along with Mike from the district foreman, and see if we can't
Okay.
figure out what we can do to help you. But
All right.
we'll go from there. I'd like to get a copy of your property and
Yeah,
the
sure.
map, and so I know what we're talking about.
All right,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. All right, we have planning commission member appointments. We have a regular member, Mr. Mike Higgins. His resume is there. If you'd like to take a look at that, or if you want to hold that off till Friday, that's fine too. What's your pleasure?
How many people do we have in the planning committee right now?
Pat, how many we got? 7 active
7
members?
people.
Planning commission.
We only have 9 members, we're down to 7. And we might have another one come up in the year. So, we need to, I talked to Mike Higgins in the past, after a board meeting a couple of meetings ago, and he, sounds like he's got some really good input as far as telecommunications, that end of that. And he's a fairly new resident, and he seems interested in being on the planning commission, and that's half the battle. Somebody that's interested in actually going to communicate, because you get people on the planning commission, and if we don't give input, it's left to a couple people, doing all the discussion and homework. So it sounds like it would be good on the planning commission, my impression. I don't know him personally. He lives on the River Road, and I think it'd be nice to have equal River Road and agriculture area, so that would be a good balance.
So can I make a motion to appoint Mike Higgins?
If you'd like, or
This is the reason why, before you make the motion, that I question it was, we've had 7, we've had 9 at one point in time. We just went through a tough budget, but I think it's very admirable that somebody wants to get on, and I think we shouldn't push people away in that regard by any means. I'm not saying that. But I just wondered if we should try to streamline all of our boards. We can have 5, 7, or 9.
Problem is when you have, the problem is when you have 9 and several people don't, when you get down to 7, several people don't show up, you have to have 5 members for a quorum. And that has happened to me. Our board representative didn't show up because he thought we had a quorum. In December, we didn't have a quorum. We did discuss more on the master plan review. We couldn't vote on anything, so we had to vote on everything later on. But that's the problem. If you're going to get anything done, and that's pulling teeth, because I asked them all to RSVP. And there's a few people that don't routinely RSVP, and I don't know, sometimes a couple days before the meeting, then I've got a quorum. Problem is, why should I go through all the trouble putting an agenda together, getting everything ready for a meeting, so everybody has it a week ahead of time, and that's my attempt, always. But the problem is, if they're not going to be respectful and let me know that they're going to be there or not be there, why should I waste my time for something that's not going to be a quorum? And I just think it's, I think it's good to have, if that's what we have, we should have our 9-member board. Because there's different things that happen to people that they can't be there, and this way we can guarantee and go on. I mean, we do have a 9, and that'll only bring us up to 8. And like I said, there's one that'll have to be renewed the end of April, starting May. So whether you guys will decide to renew him, I don't know. And then the other member. So we're still, possibly 1 or 2 short.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough, thanks.
okay.
All right, do we have a motion then to approve Mr.
I motion that we
Mike
appoint
Higgins to be,
Mike Higgins to the
Yeah.
planning commission.
all right, and I would support that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, we have a memo from Mr. Chartier to switch his status on the planning commission as a member and board representative to Mr. Matt Kabolchek. I don't know, we have to probably act on that, so we have do I hear a motion to approve that switch?
I make a motion to remove Mr. Chartier from the planning commission and put Matt Kowalczyk as the township board representative.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Question on,
Oh,
just a question
sure.
on the motion.
Discussion?
And I'm just asking because this has happened in the past. I was on that committee before with Mr. Chartier and enjoyed it. I had to get off because I had won that election in November a year ago. Obviously, I have respect to him as the senior trustee here, that's why I couldn't. Is it proper to go through this procedure? I mean, if he chooses not to, can he just, or is this proper procedure?
Well, I like to keep it in the record only because it makes it easier to keep track of people's terms and so forth.
Fair enough.
Do you know when your term expires?
No.
No? I'm sorry?
November election.
November?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's just a question, thank you.
Do you want to
Okay.
get our ayes and nays on that?
No, not yet. All right, so, all in favor of this change?
Aye.
Hi.
That's what I was asking.
Yes. Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, we have Gary from Emterra. Is he here? There he is. I've forgotten your last name, sir. I think
My
it's
last name is Varisto.
Bristow. That's what I thought it was.
Can you
I
spell
couldn't
that,
find it.
please?
V as in Victor, A-R-I-S-T-O. And I'm here, I'm not really representing Emterra, but I brought some folks along that would like to take a few minutes to present a program that you might be interested in. Let me go back to, I think the first contract that was with World Waste. There was a time when you selected your own hauler, and then you introduced a single hauler. And that happened to be World Waste, who I actually worked for at that time. And then I believe the next step, and that was a benefit because you cut the cost of trash pickup considerably when you went to a single hauler. The next was, I believe, was recycling. I'm not sure how quickly that came, which we thought was a good idea. And that was the next step you took. Now there's another step that you can take, and that is it's an add-on to recycling. There's a number of communities that are participating in this, and that is that when you put out your bid package, you request in your bid package certain specifications for the garbage bags. And I have some people here that have what I think is a unique bag, because it's made from 65% recycled materials. And so it takes 65% less virgin oil to make a bag. And in this country, we use 200 billion bags a year. if you had this thing sweep, let's say, through the country and everybody was using a bag that was made from recycling, you could reduce the amount of oil like 36, 40 million barrels a year, which would be a good thing. And it helps reduce the carbon footprint. Obviously, I'm kind of a recycling kind of guy, environmentalist myself. And that's why I'm saying I'm just here, just representing me, and want to give you guys an opportunity to hear what they have to say. And with that, I'll bring them up and they can talk about their product. And
hi there, thanks for the time. Before we start, I'll give you these. And basically outline what the product is, how it's derived, what the benefits are, so on and so forth. But the bags are all manufactured in Michigan. They're all made from 70% recycled plastic. Some of the materials you actually recycle yourself, the plastic bottles, probably get processed by the people who manufacture these bags, convert them into product, which reduces the utilization of oil-based resins that, unfortunately, a lot of the oil gets imported. So, just so you can have an idea of what these things look like, I'll just pass them around and look at them. These are basically small 50-gallon bags. One over here are large 32-gallon truck bags. They have a slightly different texture to them because they're made out of recycled material. And in fact, they're built out of 3 layers, 3 separate layers, as you'll see in the information. So the general utilization is that these items are included in the trash holding contract. Essentially, I'm assuming that the majority of people in the township use trash bags, so they're finished buying them. The price of these things is approximately the same or slightly less than the bags you buy on your own at the store. So really the net cost to the community is essentially zero, but you have this great advantage that 70% of the bag is made from recycled materials, so you have a significant improvement in the recycling procedures and a significant reduction in utilization of oil-based materials that come from crude oil. So that's basically the background to the products. If anyone has any questions, I can answer them later. Basically, we're a Michigan-based company, Green Core. We have these bags manufactured for us, and we sell them under the Green Core label. They're manufactured in Michigan, in Petoskey, Michigan, and the company that manufactures the bags are the 3rd largest bag manufacturer in the USA, and by far the biggest plastic film recycler. So they're great people to work with, and we would like you to think about utilising the product to improve the recycling structures here in the township, and also I think probably generate additional revenues that can be set aside by the programme for the township to utilise for parks and recs or things like that. That would probably amount, I think, our finance guy here could do all of that, but somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000 a year. So that will come back to the community for the community use. The bags will be distributed to each of the households. Households will get to use them. They get approximately 120 bags a year. If they need any more than that, they may or may not. Then they can order them and online, and we'll just do it. So I'll let Larry Brown, who's our finance guy and not involved
It's pretty straightforward. So the question, I don't know if you have some questions. We gave you the books that tells you the whole history of how the company started up and who, who's making our bags. And the main thing is that you could add, for the township itself could make 50 cents per box of bags. And so if you have as many, let's say you use 6 boxes in a year per family, and there might be more, then that would probably equate to somewhere around between $4,000 and $5,000 a year. It's not big numbers, depends on, because it's a small community, but at least it's $4,000 or $5,000 more that you didn't have before. It can be put towards some of the township small programs that you're trying to at least initiate and help out. Of course, this also helps to reduce, like Fred said, the carbon footprint. By the way, it's Fred Hamilton, I'm Larry Brown, Sam Jawad, so you have names on the record. So what we're also trying to do is control the trash here in your township, because it will have names on it. It'll have Green Corps name on it, so that if the trash hauler comes through and sees some strange outside bags sitting there, that's how they start to figure out, well, there's outside trash coming into this township that's not yours. So it helps to control the type of trash that's going to the hauler. This is something that can be added, later on if you strike up a deal with the hauler, to do this at the time, to include the bag program with them. So I don't know if there's any other question, any questions you might have, or it's kind of like I've heard tonight that, things are being thrown out, but it's something that we really want to try to kind of get the concept to you to say, yes, it's something we can do, that it can be done through the entire community, through the hauler. Bags are purchased through the township. You get the extra dollar, the extra dollars that are made, and that's how the program would work.
Just a quick input. We're running a bag of very similar programs down in Florida as well, and off the onset, they've been very successful. Once the community got on board, I can tell you that it's been part of the bid package ever since. We feel very strongly that the community here would feel the same.
Good. Anyone have any questions on the board?
How do you distribute them?
I was distributing the initial distribution, because there'll be a single pack of 6 boxes like this, would be distributed in a 6-pack to each home. So they get delivered directly by delivery service at one time, and then as people reorder them, they'll be processed and we'll deliver them probably on a weekly or bi-weekly basis throughout the community to the people who need them. But obviously, if they use more than 6 boxes a year, a decision has to be made when the program starts as to whether the individual household takes the extra boxes, or whether there's a funding system set up within the whole program where extra boxes are available for families that need them. But whatever the case is, we'll deliver them so they get delivered to the house.
Which one of those bags will replace those green tubs that the truckers seem to destroy when they throw in the wintertime?
There are recycling bags. It would be a different color.
Oh, yeah, what's unique about this is that we can make this any color of your choosing. If you want a red bag, if you want a blue bag. So that kind of makes it stand out and unique as well. Again, we envision a program here where we're going to help recycle, help control, and really help possibly create a revenue stream here for the municipality. So that's the ideal here.
Bags look a little bit, I know when you went by, they're a little funky when I first felt them, but they're very strong.
Extremely strong.
Very strong.
I just want to add that in Clay Township, they're using a clear green bag for recycling.
Okay.
It's a great benefit to the hauler, because right now he picks up the bin, takes it to the truck, takes it back, and Clay, where they're using them, it's just, you just pick up the bag, you take it to the truck. There's nothing blowing, because it's, spring tide, and it's working out great. You can talk to Artie Bryson, he'll support what I'm telling you. But this program has to be It should be as part of the bid package and part of overall garbage collection. So as I said before, you went from multiple haulers to a single hauler, you went to recycling, and this is the next step in recycling.
Is it gonna be a requirement for for Emterra to pick up the trash?
Well, whoever the hauler is, you know, you're coming up with a bid.
Is it gonna be a requirement to use these bags?
Oh, yeah, the hauler will, as part of your contract, is your hauler is directed not to pick up any other bag than that bag, which is the green core bag, and I think that you can even have Cottrellville on the bag.
Yeah, depending on the number of bags that are actually committed to. So if every household here were to get a case with 6 boxes, I believe that's pretty close to what they were doing. They put your name on the bag, so you would know it's
But
here.
you're saying if you don't use your bags, the hauler won't pick them up?
That's correct.
Yeah, what happens is that this is a...
Interesting. You
Yeah.
should be supplying them then.
Well, we will be through the bid process. In other words,
It's up to you to put it in the bid.
yeah, if you put it in the
You're
bid
saying to
package-
them,
Well, wait, that's what I just asked.
Right, I think
Is
you
he
missed it.
only gonna pick it up if it's in that bag?
Correct.
Yeah, it'll be part of your
that helps,
contract.
right, and that helps the
But
control.
if Cottrellville puts in there that they don't wanna use these bags, he won't pick up any trash?
Oh, they'll pick
there?
it up anyways. Yeah, they'll pick up their other bags, that's all. But we're trying to do something
Am I
to make sure.
confused, or did I not word it right?
Yeah.
Will you pick up other bags if the township does not specify these bags? That's all I'm asking.
I know. Kenton Township, okay?
Will you do it for Cottrellville?
Yes, if it's part of the contract, yes. In other words, Emterra, whoever has the contract, will say, your contract will say, do not pick up anything other than the Cottrellville bag. Because the Cottrellville bag is gonna have, as a greater ply, it's a better bag, and it helps promote the other side of recycling.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
If you don't use a Cottrellville bag, a green bag, the hauler will not pick it up. Is that,
That's correct, yes.
if it's put into the contract that way?
If it's put into the contract.
But if it's not put into the contract that way, you'll still pick up a plastic bag?
Well, then you'll have to do what they're doing in Clay Township. If you talk to Artie, he'll tell you he wished that they could have been part of the contract. They sell them out of the township. And we do pick up in Clay any bag that's out there, because it's not mandatory, it's not part of the contract.
That's what I was just asking. Is it mandatory to use your bags to get the
Yes.
trash picked up?
Because you're demanding that from the hauler, through the contract. You're saying, we want to use this recycle-friendly bag, it's the best bag on the market, it's less costly, so overall, the residents are truly going to be saving money by using this particular bag.
And they're also supplied, and you can buy them at Walmart and the other places that I see in the back?
No, everything will...
cost?
Pardon me?
How much do they cost?
I'll defer to Larry.
And we were talking, well, if we didn't deliver them, we were talking about it would be $30 for 6.
Right.
Depending on if you're adding any
$3
environmental fee
service
to it. If you
charge
added
to have
50 cents
them
to
delivered.
a box, you have an environmental fee which would come back to you
For the year,
for the year.
So
So you're
basically-
talking,
a little less than
$5
three.
a box. And generally, if you go to any of the supermarkets, mine included, most of the trash bags, extra trash bags, anything else are around $6 a box.
Do they have green bags there?
Expensive.
Do they have green bags there that people can purchase also?
from this hauler, or from us? from
No,
our
we don't sell
Green
these,
bags.
yeah, we don't sell these particular bags at Walmart or anything of that sort,
No.
no.
But if you want green bags, there'll be green bags.
It's not if I want them, it's the hauler I'm asking about. If he's only gonna pick up green bags,
Well, He'll pick up any of these bags. If you're going in the program, you can either have,
plastic bags, something you can buy at Walmart, something you can buy at Kmart.
No, because part of the cost of the bags is built into the collection contract. It does two things. It eliminates the cost of buying bags for all your residents, because they all have to buy them. And they probably buy $30, $40 worth a year without noticing it. And that way, having been involved in the contract here for many years, I can tell you that a not insignificant portion of the waste that gets picked up in Cottrellville County doesn't originate in the town. It originates in areas where the residents are charged individually by the hauler to pick things up. They're called subscription accounts, which I also use. And those subscription accounts, less than a half of the population in a given area subscribe to it. So the way they get rid of their waste is the way they get rid of their waste. And some of them drop it in a neighbouring township with a contract because
But you
nobody
can't carry a box of trash out to the road anymore? Is that what you're saying? If it's not in a green bag? They're not gonna pick up trash unless it's in one of your bags?
Correct. If it's in the
Well,
contract.
if it's in a,
I
Gary
guess
puts
we
it in a
gotta
box,
watch
they would
how
pick
we
it up.
word our contract, don't we?
But that's a decision of the board now. The board says the contract requires the hauler to pick up trash that's in Cottrellville bags only, because the bags are being distributed to every home in the community, and everybody can use them. It's a very simple decision for the hauler. If you
Okay.
don't want to do it that way, then essentially there isn't a sensible program that you can run, because the hauler will never know whether some of those non-Cottrellville bags are from outside, from the trailer park or anywhere else, which I know happened because I saw people do it. So
Okay, thank you.
It's designed.
I think we got it.
Yeah.
So if we need any additional information, is there a contact person that you would want?
Patty's been handling
Patty?
it for us up till now, so,
So we can, we'll discuss some additional information for you for the board,
all right.
okay?
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll get back to standard.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You want to leave the open one? You want to leave the open ones for the board? Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks. See a lot of new faces up here. Yeah, it's changed a lot in the last 12, 14 years.
All right, our next item is the Compensation Commission. We've got a little booklet that I provided for you, and some idea of member appointments. Those can be arranged any way you'd like. We had people that requested to be on this board, or on the Compensation Committee. If there's anything that you want to rearrange, just take a look at it. And what I had was reappointing regular member for 5 years, Mr. Alan Barnes, with his term expiring in 2021. Reappointing regular member for 4 years, Mrs. Violet Paff, that would expire 12/31/2020. Appointment of a regular member for 3 years, Mrs. Barb Basney, expires 12/31/2019. Appointment of regular member for 2 years, Mr. Ron Deach, and his would expire 12/31/2018. And then the reappointment of the regular member for 1 year, Beverly Kopek, expires 12/31/2017. Is Mr. Deach here, or? Okay. And Barb Basney, she's here too. Okay.
According to this, though, Vi is not eligible.
Well, she's going to be leaving. We're getting a new deputy clerk. So she will be eligible.
By this time anyway, yeah.
Yeah, by that
By the
period
time
of
that it's
time.
needed, she'll be available.
Are we gonna vote on this today?
That's the idea, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. Do you want to make a motion and see if anybody else wants to vote on it?
Well, I don't care if we vote on it, but we can't vote on it if Vi's on it today.
Yes, we can. She's going to be leaving shortly.
But then we can't vote on it.
If you don't meet till 13 weeks
Yeah,
before
we can
the
postpone
end of
this.
the year or something.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna take.
Postpone it if you want.
3 weeks then.
Do we have to make a motion to vote?
Okay.
We can't appoint her as of today.
Well, she's technically still on it anyway, from the last time. When Lori and Kelly put her on. So,
And you can't meet this year anyway. You
No.
meet every
Yeah, it won't be till
odd
2017.
yeah,
When will we need this board?
not till, we can only do it on the odd years. So 2017, January would be the earliest.
So we have till that date to appoint this board.
Well, we put Mr. Barnes on at the last meeting because we wanted to make sure he didn't get away on us.
Right.
So-
I agree with that, yes.
So why don't we make a motion to appoint all of the members minus Violet Path?
If that's what you want to do?
I'll second that.
All right. We have a motion on the floor to appoint everyone except Mrs. Violet Paff for the times that were specified. All, should this be roll call or no? Roll call?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll call vote, please.
Mary Ignis?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Angie, yes.
Motion carried. All right, I'm thinking of having another, this is the third time we're discussing the possible millage for the fire protection for Cottrellville Township to meet the current costs paid to the Marine City Fire Authority and the Ira Township. I'd like to hold a town hall meeting to discuss this and bring in the fire chief and a couple other people to kind of go through some of this stuff to make sure that you understand what you're getting for your money. And I have 2 dates held for the, if you don't think that this room can handle what people will show up, I do have Washington Life Center booked for either Wednesday, May 4th, or Monday, May 9th, so that we can have some kind of a idea what the people want.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did we not table this until September?
Yes, but we, as I discussed with you afterwards, we have things we have to handle. We're down to very little money in the coffers for this sort of thing, and we're gonna be out of money by 2018. I mean, I think we gotta get rolling on this pretty quick so that we can have the money to pay for fire protection. When we run out of money in the fund balance, what do you think we're gonna do for handling this stuff? We don't have enough in the budget to just take it out of whatever we have.
Did we not just balance the budget?
We did just balance the budget, but do we know what's gonna happen in 2017 when the governor is trying to take away our revenue sharing? I mean, that's $300,000 that we'd have to make up some other way.
Just interested to know. We made a motion, we passed it till September, and you're wanting to override it?
I asked to open it again, yes.
Was that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I did. I'm asking for you to look at this one more time and let us have a town hall meeting so that we can get the people in the audience and those that are residents that are interested in giving their opinions on this, so we know whether we can put this on the ballot for the August election.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I amend that motion that we meet on Monday, May 9th?
Well, let's see first if we're gonna get it
Okay.
past Kenny to have the meeting. Do you wanna second the motion?
Yeah, I'll second,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, we have a motion on the floor. Signify by saying aye in a roll call fashion, please.
Can we have discussion on the motion?
Sure, go ahead.
Point on this, we did do this, that we would table this item. We've heard it from some of our residents, and I know we've discussed it. I think part of this that we should discuss before we say we're going to get out or we're going to have a 1.3 mil added is the research of putting in the ordinance that would allow us to collect, as someone mentioned today. Before we start saying we're out, we're in, shouldn't we look at every other avenue? And I believe we should look at an ordinance, and I know this has been discussed with the past supervisor, not only with the IRA runs that we have and the IRA support we get and the Marine City Fire Authority, and look at every other avenue before we make definitive decisions such as this. And I believe, in my opinion, that's why when this passed 4-1, I voted in that way, because I want us to exhaust every other avenue before we come back to the residents and say, this is all we got.
Okay,
I think
well,
that's what we should look at it as.
all right, are you willing to do some of this legwork? Because it's gonna, I mean, we have a momentum going here. You have an election in August that we have to pay for, and one in November. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we don't have to touch our money next year.
I understand. And we have November. So when do we have to get it on the November ballot? Is that a concern
Well,
if we don't do anything until September?
I'm trying to get it on the August.
I understand, but we also have, okay, that gets back to then the motion being said that we weren't going to bring this up.
Okay.
Just so we're clear. Okay.
Anyone else want to discuss it? Did I see someone's hand up?
I just want to know, is it going to be a millage? Because I understand the millage has to be approved by the people.
Right.
And that's the purpose of the town hall meeting.
Right. And plus to put it on the ballot. It's to see if everybody wants it, right? I see a hand over there, yes, sir.
Approximately, how much would this township gain at 1.3 mils total?
It's going to be around 100,000.
Around 100,000. I was here at the budget meeting, and I and this will address something the gentleman over here spoke about earlier. I believe the fire chief was here, and he said that the bill was gonna be only about $85,000 this year instead of $100,000. And he also stated
But he's
that-
only speaking for one department.
I'm speaking for Marine City. You're
Right.
absolutely correct.
We have two departments.
And that they also reimburse money if it's in Marine City but on Cottrellville Township. They reimburse for the runs, he stated. He's also stated there was 20-some thousand dollars that they are going after people for runs to their house. He also stated that. So if, one, does IRA participate in the refund of funds if it's in Cottrellville Township but still part of IRA?
Well, Acumen, I believe, runs their collection there as well. And they collect it for 10%.
Okay, and if it's, they're reducing their funds and we are getting payment back from people that we are supposedly going after collections, why are we trying to go for 100,000? Is my second question.
Because that's what the combination of the two are.
Of the two are, okay.
And what we've gotten so far is $8,000 back. We can't pay much with $8,000
Yes, I do
bucks.
recall him stating that we have recovered $8,000. I guess, yeah, that's good. I appreciate your
All right.
time. Thank you.
Can I get your name?
My name is Gerald Garbarino,
Okay, can you spell that last name?
Garbarino.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Runyon?
Why can't we, through the planning commission, entertain that ordinance at the same time as we're doing all this other stuff? I mean, if something comes different, you can always cancel, and I think we're due for a town hall meeting anyway, why shouldn't we have this all set? Why should we postpone because of such and such and find out that's not the answer, and meanwhile we miss dates for these town hall meetings? Why can't we have that together, and at the town hall meeting, bring all aspects of it together?
We could add that to it. All right, we ready for a vote? Anyone else got?
What is
anyone else
the
wanna add to
election in
this?
August for?
It's the primary.
State primary.
Isn't that a special election?
No.
No, it's a regular primary.
So that,
And regular
if
general
you
election
have it
in
on
November.
that one, is that one that the township has to pay? Or
Yes.
does the state,
No, we
Pay
pay
for
that.
all.
August and November we pay.
August, November, we pay regardless?
Yeah.
If we put something on?
Right,
Okay.
okay. Anyone else? All right, shall we ask for a roll call vote on this? All in favor signify by, oh, you go ahead and do your roll call.
Okay.
We're voting on the,
having the
township
hall meeting.
have a town hall meeting.
Okay.
And then we will decide which date, if
Okay.
it flies. If it doesn't, it falls around.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So roll call?
Please.
Okay, so Mary Agnes?
Yes.
Patty?
No.
Angie, yes. Ken?
No.
Matt?
No.
Okay, motion carried. I'll cancel the meetings. Mr. Barnes had requested some copies of the runs for Marine City and Ira. All I have so far is Marine City. I've given you just this current month, so I'll get you, if you want to go back a year, I'll have to get you those. I wasn't sure how far you wanted to go. I'm sorry? Okay. We have a master plan presentation by Chairman Mrs. Tricia Runyon on the master plan with the Planning Commission.
We have completed, all the board members should have gotten the master plan review. We have completed it. I hope you had time to look through it, but I think with all the conversation and input we've had, I think we did a fairly good job. There was no changes to the actual master plan. The changes or anything that we made different was our accomplishments and our strategies to accomplish what's in the master plan. So I feel really good about that because in our previous review in 2011, it didn't mention accomplishments. And I think if you're actually compliant with your master plan, you do need to say what you're accomplishing from your master plan. So this way, when you look at it, you see it outright. You don't have to dig and find out what the accomplishments are. So anyway, it's completed. We didn't have to do any public hearing. We didn't have to do any publishing because there was no changes made to the actual bones of the master plan. So, and one other thing I wanted to bring up, last two meetings, we talked about the ORV ordinance. Okay, I talked to the state police, and they said yes, they would enforce their ordinance. I explained to them that we deferred to the sheriff's department, and in 2014, the sheriff's department never went through with their ORV ordinance. So we're now deferring to the state police. He said the DNR and the state police would enforce, and he was talking about how there are rules, but he said we don't have a problem as long as people aren't excessively doing wheelies on the roads. And he said always when you're on a shoulder of a road going to a park, an automobile has first preference, so they have to defer to the automobile. The other thing, he said if there's drunken people on, or I was talking to him about, when they first grade the roads, I said, you see these people, no helmets, they're on four-wheelers doing wheelies and all this stuff. He said, oh yeah. He said at $300 an hour, and we just grade our roads, he said, we do come after them. So I will send all of you a memo, and I think I'll put a copy of the ordinance with the memo in the ordinance book that we're starting with. Any ordinances that haven't been codified, they'll be in that book. And also you'll have a copy of it, so I'll make sure you get a copy of all that. So you'll have something to reference, okay?
We'll probably still approve that at a meeting, is that we're accepting the state police, the state ordinance for that if we can, so that we have something that the girls can show if people come in and ask a question.
Okay. And I wanted to mention something about that company with the bags. While they were speaking, I was looking on my phone and looking up the company. It's a UK company. I'm sorry, but I think we can do something with the United States company. Something made in America. But that is a UK company.
I have one more question, Pat. You had, before you took this upon yourself to prepare this, you had a price from someone that was going to do it for us. Do you remember what that cost was?
First time, we got a price to review the master plan, and it was like $17,000, and that's when we decided we'd do it ourselves. Then when we got farther into it, I asked them to just redo the charts and just look at what we have so far. And then I got answered with a phase 1 and phase 2. The phase 1 was about $6,000, and if you add the phase 2, it was like almost $19,000. And then there was conversation about this being in place for 15 years. That's not what we asked. That's not what I asked them to do. I just asked them for a price. We were on a tight budget, that we wanted a price to do the charts and just look at what we had. And that was the response I got. So somewhere between $6,000 and $19,000, we saved money. So, and I'm satisfied because I look at the 2011 review, and accomplishments. One accomplishment is mentioned, and that's the Township Hall Park. It doesn't mention about the expansion on the township. It doesn't mention the water districts. It doesn't mention the partial bike paths. There's many things that are not mentioned in it. And like I said, if you're really compliant with your master plan, you have to have your accomplishments in there. So anyway, I think.
Well, we thank you very much for the money you saved our township.
Oh, thank you.
All right, should we approve this as the official record, or do you want some time to look it over? Ken?
We can do that on Friday night also.
Friday night also, very good. All right, we'll go on then. We have a renewal of Tim's lawn care estimate for 2016 summer season. That should be in your packet. What we're going to ask is for him to continue the same price. What he bid the contract. I don't know if it was 1 year or 2 years. I don't know for sure. Do you remember, Ken, how many years he's had this contract?
No, but I thought when you were having the budget meeting, you said that he reduced his prices.
No, he didn't reduce it. It was the same, we used that same number to prepare it. Angie, you spoke with him, didn't you?
No, he just
No?
dropped us off on the
Just
desk.
dropped it off?
Mhm.
Okay. So unless you want to go out to bid, I would like to,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I don't know, I guess I'm confused, because I swear at the budget meeting, you said you talked with him, you got him to reduce his
no,
fees.
no, I didn't say that. I've never met the man.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have a
When I make a
question?
motion that we go out for bid,
Well, your motion, go ahead, I'll address it. This is $405 per cut for all these items, right? It's not the total of the summer, obviously.
No, no.
What was the question?
$405 is per cut for all these items listed.
Well, everything
He
is
does it for 1 week,
individualized.
this is what we owe him weekly.
No, everything
No,
is
not-
individualized.
I don't think it's
there.
weekly, I think it's,
So he's gonna cut our grass for $405 for the whole year?
it says one time a month, or for the
That's what I
Starbucks
mean.
line.
Yeah.
So this would be times how many months, correct?
Well, we can table this till Friday night. Give us some time to call Tim and get some
That's what it
clarity.
is, I mean, it's 405 per month, times X
Looks
amount
like
of
it, that's what
months.
it says. Mhm.
Well, it doesn't say that. That's what I'm asking.
Well, each thing is individualized, so, I mean, like the Starville lot is one time a month. The Riverfront Park is $40, that's one side of the road. The Township Park is $198 a week, but we, we only figure so many weeks. So usually, if you have watering, you would have like a 28-week season. But I estimated it down because sometimes in July and August, it's so dry out here, the ground is cracked. So there's nothing there that has to be cut. And he said he would work with us anytime during the summer that it dries up and the lawn should be skipped, there will be no charge for that. So as long as we watch it real close, we can keep a tight on the budget.
I appreciate your work here, but if you look at the items that you just cited, the baseball field, once a month, $60 for Starville lot, $40 for that, just those three rough ballpark, that's $275. Then the top, just the 198, $200 for 275 is 475, he's got 405 as his total. I didn't even add the other numbers yet. Can we get a little better breakdown on what this total is?
Okay, I think this is probably just, it's an estimated program that probably just totals
Yeah,
like
I think it just totaled it.
at the bottom.
Yeah, it just
Yeah, I
totaled
don't
it.
think
That
it.
doesn't
Right,
mean
it didn't
anything
add those
down
other
there.
numbers in.
No.
It doesn't mean
No.
anything down there.
No, that's just the stuff in the rates and the total is
Yeah,
what we
the-
have,
yeah,
not
this is
not
what-
the bottom.
Right.
But I can ask him if he would give us more clarified.
So how much are if we vote on it, what are we passing? How much?
What, for his agreement? Well, I can,
Yeah, that's what
I'll
I'm just
spell it
saying.
all out for him.
We have a motion, though, don't we? I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a motion on it.
Did we have a second?
No.
Okay, I guess it dies for lack of.
What was the motion? Can we repeat it?
Sure, the motion
was
is.
then we
to
go
have-
out for quote.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay?
Nay.
Motion carried. All right. I gave you a memo regarding the township administration fee. Again, I'm asking you to look at that. There was an error that was made that we didn't locate until I put this last memo together. It had been reading $155.33. It's actually $15.33 for the administration fee to be increased.
Is that not one of the other things that was on the
Yes.
postponement till September?
Yes, and I told you that we cannot wait that long, that we have got to get stuff moving if you want to take care of it on this coming July 1st summer tax. I don't know, you guys.
And we still had it for September, did we not?
Yes, Ken, but I
Okay.
explained it to you that it can't be.
I just wondered if that
we
was
can't wait.
just a procedure for just,
Well, I'm not sure you understand it. This is a $5.38 increase. You want to wait till September to decide if you want to spend $5? I mean, I mean.
Did we not pass it once already?
I know, but didn't I not
So
explain to
obviously,
you?
I would like to wait until September. I made a motion and it passed.
Okay, but that was the wrong amount. Did I not correct it to show you that it's not gonna be $155? It's $15.
Is it still a tax increase?
Yes, it is.
Then it'd still be for September, would it not?
Yeah, but you can't get it on the ballot in August if you wait till September.
This doesn't have to be on the ballot. You can vote on this. It's an admin thing.
Well, evidently he doesn't wanna vote on it, but it would miss the July
And
if
your
you.
$5.38, that's for non-homestead according to this little thing. The bottom one is for homestead.
Yeah,
people,
$2.93.
which is- Yeah, $2.93. And that's for the year.
I believe that's correct, it doesn't have to go on, it's not a ballot issue. It's a
No.
board could approve this tonight if we wanted to.
Right.
Has to be done by June now, that's when we start getting the summertime.
Taxes.
By June. All right. What do we wanna do? Kill it again?
I do.
It was killed once, it's not kill it again. Can you revive it again? That's the way you should be wording it. It was
Okay.
postponed till
Excuse me.
September.
Okay.
I don't know how many times you want to try it. September is what everyone voted on.
Even though the amount has changed, it doesn't make any difference to anybody else. Is that correct? Okay, I guess we'll let it go then. All right, we have, St. Clair County Road Commission has given us agreements for what we discussed at our board meeting as far as the budget. The 22 limestone haul is 52 train loads of limestone is $70,499. The 80-20 cost sharing with the county is 52 train loads of stone that we're paying $5,000 for to get $25,000 worth of stone. It's a program that Mr. Weston came up with at the county road. Chloride application to local roads is $13,787, and the swath mowing of approximately 35 miles of shoulders on local roads is $3,141.30. I have all the work orders here that need to be signed. If there's something there you don't want, you'll have to tell us, and he'd like to get his work lined up like he always does. So it's your call, if you want to do them individually or if you want to do them as a group. But they were all approved at the budget.
Well, if they're all approved, let's move ahead.
That's what I would think, but
Well, just a question, didn't we have a motion that we weren't going to do any money items till Friday, so we could review this? Isn't this a money item?
well, it was already approved at a previous meeting, so.
I understand.
But we can hold off that long if you'd like. All right, let's put it on for Friday then, I guess. All right, we have a Parks and Rec Committee Chairman, Mr. Tony Spatafor, wishes to address the board. Tony?
Good evening, Board. First of all, before I'd like to start, I'd like to say this is a business, and I'm sorry to hear about your husband, Mary, but I'm a businessman for 25 years. This is a business meeting, so I commend you, Kenny, for holding off, because if I'm a businessman and somebody brings me something 20 minutes before a meeting and wants me to vote on it, they ain't no longer working for me. Sorry. There's no excuse for that.
Can
All
I
right?
say something?
I have the floor right now. You can say it as soon as I get done. So therefore, I'd like to continue, but I'll let you go ahead, Angie, and say what you need to say.
Okay, Mary Agnes had the agenda packet ready for trustee Sharts here early this morning, ready for him to pick up at any time. So I just wanted to correct
Yeah,
that.
but what he was stating that it needs to be done 8 days before the meeting. There's no excuse why it ain't done before 8 days before the meeting. That's all I'm saying. There's no excuse for that.
Okay, you've said it twice now. Go on with your business.
I have the floor.
Yes, and I'm still the chairman here.
I know
so-
you are, but
So
I'm
please continue your discussion.
I'm gonna. I don't need you to interrupt me. Wait till I'm finished. First issue is Parks and Rec maintenance. How come in Park and Rec maintenance, not that it means anything to me, the money part, but it's the principle. How come Parks and Rec maintenance was the only thing that was cut out of pay when you did the budget?
Because we were out of money.
Oh, how come you didn't take a pay cut or propose a pay cut for the board all the way across the board?
That was set previous to ever taking office.
So what? You can put introduce a pay cut across the board. If you're looking to cut the budget in the township, how come you didn't do it yourself?
How come you didn't give me a budget to work from your department?
You didn't ask for one.
For 3 months I asked for
Yeah.
that.
I have the floor, so if you keep interrupting me,
If you keep interrupting me, you're going to be asked to leave.
you're interrupting me. And I ain't gonna leave till I'm finished. All right? Now, I had no time limit. If you just be quiet and let me finish, I'll be done. And quit interrupting me. It's rude.
Then don't ask questions of the board. You don't want any answers, just state your policy and be on with yourself.
I did. Now, I can ask questions as regards Parks and Rec.
If I can't answer them, how are you going to know what the answer is?
You can't answer why you didn't put a pay cut across the board? You can't answer that?
No, I'm not going to answer that.
Well, good. Well, I hope the voters look at me. Cameraman, look at me. Remember this, when you go to vote in November, I hope you remember this, all right? Because it's their attitude that makes a difference. You don't know how to address the public correctly. So I'll continue. You want to keep interrupting me? It's going to take that much longer. Second, it's going to be Parks and Rec. What? You stated in a newsletter that you're opening the park April 1st. I gave you the benefit of the doubt when you first took over this job, because you had so much on your plate, to call me and get in touch with me every Monday before the Parks and Rec meeting. For Parks and Rec meeting is the first Tuesday of every month. I have not received a phone call from you because I gave you the common courtesy to get everything straightened around. You said you had so much on your plate. I said, call me when you get time. All right? So you go put in a newsletter when the park's going to be open, what you're going to do, and then you put in the budget, no money for Parks and Rec. So how do you expect me to put on? And from the last meeting, the quote I got was, if you want any money for Parks and Rec, you're going to do a fundraiser. You have to do fundraisers to put on. Was that one of your quotes? Because I ain't fundraising any money for this township. When people put a millage in on their taxes and they get money from St. Clair County, and you take the money and allocate it to different places besides Parks and Rec, I'm not asking the township to pay any money to Parks and Rec, and I hope they don't. Last month I was here, I asked you, how much is in the budget for Parks and Rec? You told me $24,000. I asked you, where's the money at? Where'd you put it? You guys couldn't come up with anything. You couldn't show me where the money was. All right? So I get the budget. You started out with $9,000 in the budget. From the county, St. Clair County, you got $14,771.63. That allocates to $23,771. You want to break that down for me, what you did with the money? Because that's not what's in Parks and Rec. I didn't think you'd have an answer. So, and then second of all, you put a $7,200 in specimen abatement over on the new waterfront park for what? All that stuff was closed over there a year ago. So you're going to cut my pay 1/3, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that unless you wanted to give the rest of the board a cut across the board. So You take 7,000 and go hide it in the new park, when Parks and Rec could be using it for abatement. Thank you very much. Now, at this point, I'm giving you my resignation for Parks and Rec maintenance and Parks and Rec chairman of the board. You can have your baby back, but I bet you'll be finding some money in it now that you're running it. And I hope the people remember when they vote in November what you did. Thank you. Also got a resignation for Tammy McGuire and the rest of the boards. So make sure you get a new board for your Parks and Rec. I'm tired of this board going around allocating Parks and Rec money and putting it everywhere they want to use it except Parks and Rec. Thank you. Make me sick. Had a nice board and it got screwed up. Here's your 5 resignations.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
This is pertaining to Parks and Rec. First of all, I'd like to bring up a conversation that I had with Mary Agnes during a Park and Rec meeting. Mary, you said at our Park and Rec meeting that we had $28,000 in Park and Rec account. Now there's $2,500 for park maintenance. Second of all, why are you borrowing money from the general fund to fix our park and charging the Park and Rec 3% interest? That's what I'd like to know. What about the monies the township took out of Park and Rec fund to pay for the waterfront dump debacle? $42,000. Where's that money? Okay? Where's the $14,771.63 you received on, let's see, you applied for it on 11/10/2015, and you received it November 16th, 2015. Where's the money? I spoke to Mark Brochu today, a matter of fact, and this is what you said you were going to use the money for. Why are you borrowing money from the township, charging Parks and Rec 3% interest, when you guys took, not just this board, the other board, took the money out of Parks and Rec and paid for that crap hole on the water to clean up their mess? There's no money in Park and Rec? Okay, why? Because you spent it all. You're responsible, you're responsible. Ken, you're the only one that ever helped Parks and Rec. Okay. $9,000 is missing. Okay? No monies were supposed to pay for the waterfront park. It was all supposed to be grant money. This board and the last board have sucked this township dry. We, the residents, are getting nothing in return except for higher taxes, wasteful spending, your education, free gas. Everyone has taken a hit financially. Park maintenance, residents, the kids in this township, our roads, our ditches, our pocketbooks. The only ones that have benefited from the incompetence is this board. Every board member has kept their wage for hours not worked. Patty received $800 in mileage, which ends up to be 1,402 miles. Education money, haven't we spent enough on her education for somebody that was supposed to be qualified when she took the seat? Now you want to hit us with administration fees. Wasteful spending. That's a bogus excuse for more raises. And Mary, per our conversation in your office, when I told you I was going to resign, you said Ken Chartier was your issue.
he was gonna be your problem, you need to look far to your left. Here you go. This is yours. And everything you put in here about what we were doing for Parks and Rec, when you sat in this office with us at our township meeting, we told you we could afford to have 2 events. You put all this in the newsletter. Where were we supposed to get the money for that? Quit wasting our damn money.
So there's, okay, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, we still have one more Parks and Rec issue. Their meeting on May 3rd that's scheduled, I guess we don't have to worry about because the whole board just quit, but we won't be having a Parks and Rec meeting on May 3rd because we have an election that day and they'll be using this building. So. All right. Hey, Angie, you want to do your discussion on your part of it?
I get to follow that. Okay, so on a lighter note, I just wanted to remind the residents in the township that we are populating an email list to go out to the residents to update everyone on news, you know, anything that's happening within the township, not fundraisers, events. And last month I was able to send out like election results and I got a good response from that. So within the township hall, outside the deputy clerk's window and the treasurer's window, there's a clipboard and you just sign up your name and your email, and I add it to the list of residents that have already signed up, which is about 40 people out of like what 3,000 residents that we have in the township. So I just want to encourage you to go ahead and sign up, and it's an easy, free, efficient way for us to communicate with all of you. So, and then the other thing is I wanted to say a big thank you to all of the absentee voters out there in Cottrellville Township. You guys have recently received an application to vote for the May 3rd election, and in the application letter, you received a little pink slip that looks like this, and I was requesting phone numbers from everybody, like a contact information, because what happened when I was processing the absentee ballots for the March 8th election last month is we came across a lot of voters that forgot to sign right here on the outside of the absentee ballot envelope, or they forgot to sign their application, and we really struggled in contacting those residents. In fact, Vi Path, the deputy clerk, went door to door getting people to sign their ballots so that their ballot could count. So I just applaud Vi for doing that. And I just say thank you again for passing those back into the office. And then the other thing, I'm not sure if I should even bring up, but April 4th, I was able to attend the Back to Basics class put on by Plant Moran, which is our auditor, and they suggested me being the clerk go to get some education, and it was pretty much a basics class on how to you know, learn the lingo and the different funds associated with the government accounting, and I really appreciated the knowledge I learned and gained. And thank you, board, for allowing me to go and attend. I think it's going to be beneficial us moving forward and getting this straightened up. So, okay, that's it.
Can you elaborate as how much it cost us to have you, to send you there?
$100 was the class.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. We have a few announcements. The Smith Cemetery spring cleanup we're going to do on Saturday, April 23rd, 2016, and it will start at 9 a.m. A lot of people have already received the invitation
through the email
list. So, and Cardinal Mooney High School has requested permission to hold their softball practices and some of their games in our township park, and they've agreed to clean up and maintain the field during their use, and their schedule is attached. The seniors at the Washington for Life Center would also like to play ball on our township ball field as well. They're just trying to get their teams together. So, and I had prepared this before I got the notice that they don't have the schedule ready, so that is not attached to your paperwork. Any other comments? Do we have public comments?
Good evening. So let's talk about the trash bags when the guys were standing here. Tara has been our trash hauler for how long, Ken, do you know? It's been a few years, right?
Probably
Couple
close to
years?
10.
He said 14.
Excuse me?
He said 14.
14?
Yeah.
And a couple years back, he came to the board, it wasn't this board, I don't think you were on the board, Matt, you might have been, but I know you were, Ken. And he talked about wanting to break his contract because he didn't read it well enough to know that it was costing them more money to pick up our yard waste. And the board approved that, costing money to the residents of the township. Didn't cost Gary any money. So because he didn't read the contract and now they're asking you to put this into a bid, I would hope that you would look at that before you do that. Who had this put on the agenda? Patty?
Patty?
Patty, and can I ask you why? I mean, what you were looking into?
You can buy them separate. That was my whole thing, not getting it put on our garbage bid.
Got
To
it.
just purchase them from our township.
Got it.
That's the point that he missed, and I think in the conversation, that all got missed.
Yeah,
I didn't want to interrupt, waited, but we can purchase them separate.
okay.
It's not something that has to go on.
But you heard him here, or the
Yes,
gentleman, that you
yes.
can put it in the bid.
Right.
I would hope that you all pay attention if you keep the M-Terra, because their contract should be coming up this year. Because that did cost every one of our residents that wanted to keep it. Okay, secondly, I'm glad that you did a little scenario of going to class. It was recommended, was it not?
Yeah,
And
Alan
I'm
Barnes.
glad, because nobody else has done that.
Okay.
You did it a couple meetings ago.
Yeah.
This meeting was crazy. But definitely, Patty, can I talk to you about those trash bags after the meeting?
Sure.
Thanks. Okay, other than that, that's it.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Yes.
How much do we pay a year?
For
Our taxes for trash pickup?
145.
145?
145.
And the
yeah.
job they're doing, and we're really thinking of keeping them?
Well, that would be up to the board whenever their contract is up.
Well, when is the board gonna consider what we want?
Well, and not only that, a couple of my neighbors have complained that with the regular recycling in the green bin, the guys just drive by and throw it right in the regular truck.
Or on a
So-
road, or
And
that ditch.
trying to get M-Terra to call you back.
Yeah.
They don't do
How about just
that.
trying to get a green bin, that'd be.
We have them if you want.
Yeah.
We just got,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have some now.
You don't have to pay for them, you can get them right here. So I'm just saying,
I get you one.
I would
before
hope that
leave.
you would look at that. Okay?
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
My name is Bill Steeler, S-T-I-E-L-E-R. I'm a resident right across from Kmart, and there's approximately 20 homes over there. And over the last 15 years, we've dealt with, when flooding occurs, usually due to rains, we've had sewer in our basements, and it just so happens that we're at the low end of the sewer system prior to the pump that's located between Kmart and Fifth Third Bank. So we've dealt with it, and we've had progress. Some equipment's been put on that pump, alarms and phone activation to make it so that we wouldn't get sewer in our basements. Well, the incident, which I consider March 24th, we had a heavy rain, and over at Shangri-La, it was quite flooded, but that's because the two drains combined there to go to the river. So I have 3 questions tonight, and I want to continue investigating, and therefore, one, I would like to have a contact of who I can continue talking to this issue. But my main concern is to make sure I understand that the board, all the employees are working within a plan so that I don't get sewer in my basement again. So that's the main goal. The question is, so I would like to know what went wrong that night such that a pump had to be installed on the pump station and was pumping sewer out of the sewer system and into the storm sewer system, storm drain system that went into the St. Clair River. So I need an answer to that. So that's question 2.
You want me to try to answer it now? Don, do you know what he's talking about?
800 gallons a minute stop in your basement from flooding,
And I agree with that, thank you.
along with about 40 other homes. Our system alone takes so much water. That's why we're having the SAW grant to get the lines cambered and the problems fixed. Kmart, or Shangri-La does not help us. Their station was shut off because they give us a lot of infiltration.
Correct.
They also pay for it. The pumps are pumping at max.
Understood, but we've worked through this, that we should have this taken care of.
You're right.
Okay.
About 30 years ago.
Okay.
Okay? And we're to this point now where we're trying to get it taken care of. And once we find the problems, we're going to have to go after grants to pay for those problems.
If I hear you correctly, you're stating everything within the sewer system, but that night, rainwater got into the sewer system.
That's correct. That's why the SAW grant is trying to, the people that have their sumps in their basements that are pumping into the sanitary sewer systems, that's illegal.
I thought we do a smoke.
We do, but as soon as maybe we leave, they hook them back up.
Okay. I understand it's an issue, that's why I'm here.
You can install a backflow preventer.
Well, I know what I can do, but I want to be assured that the township is doing.
Township right now is doing everything that we can do right now.
Okay.
We state-of-the-art alarm systems.
Did it work that night?
Yeah, we were
Okay.
there, what, 18 hours? We started at 2:30 in the afternoon. We never started pumping water that into the manhole until it got to the level that we couldn't keep up to. You, Safar, you are the only one that I know of, as of right now. You have my phone number. Pick up the phone and say, hey, Don, I got a problem. We got to do, maybe we had to put 2 pumps in there. I talked to Don Elkhorn 15 times that night. He was fine. Usually he is the worst problem.
And I agree.
It's communications. If we don't know at that level, we can't fix it. We knew what we were doing to try to do right at that point. If you would have called me up and said, hey, I'm having problems, I could have got Marine City to bring a pump in. But I don't know unless I know.
Well, I think the biggest issue I have is the pump. All right, so the third question I have is, I'd like to see a report of you calling into the DEQ stating that you were doing what you're doing.
There was a report, we left a message there, they were aware of what we were doing.
Okay, I'd like that information. So those are the 3 things. I'll leave the questions with you or the board.
Leave with the board.
Okay. Yeah, and I've worked with you. I know it's an issue, but I just want to make sure the board's fairly new. They may not know what we know. And I just want to make sure everything's in place, because so easily some agency could come in and kick me out of my house because I have raw sewage in my basement. I don't want to be kicked out. So, thank you.
I'll take your
Yeah, you want to take that
And do you have
list?
a contact information on here?
Yeah, it's right at the top.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else under public comments? Do we have any board member comments? Then I guess we're looking for a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
And we're reconvening Friday night.